The human body is a map of the cosmos. Between the base of the spine and the crown of the skull unfolds the entire structure of the universe. At the lower extreme, the coccyx holds the weight of the entire body, as the earth holds the weight of the world. At the upper extreme, the first cervical vertebra holds the head, as the sky holds the stars. That vertebra carries an ancient name, Atlas. Atlas is the titan who holds the sky on his shoulders, the one who keeps heaven and earth separated so that life can exist in between, the one who prevents everything from collapsing, the one who allows there to be space to breathe. Without Atlas, the cosmos crumbles. Without Atlas, heaven and earth merge and life disappears. That's why the world map is called an atlas, because the map holds the world in our minds. It allows us to navigate, it gives us coordinates, it orients us in space. And Atlas was also the first king of Atlantis, the firstborn of Poseidon, the one who ruled from the mountains we now call the Canaries, the last peaks that remained visible when the continent sank. The Adder-Tumti plan. In ancient memory, there exists a plan that was born in Atlantean times over 13,000 years ago. A plan that was carried forward until 5000 BC, changing its name and language several times. That plan is called Adder-Tumti. From ancient Atlantean, bringing heaven to earth, the mission was to reflect the celestial order in the terrestrial order, to make cities, temples, roads organize themselves as the stars organize themselves in the firmament. That as above, so below. Adder-Tumti was the plan that the Atlanteans seeded in the world before the flood erased the routes. It was the plan that survivors attempted to rebuild in Egypt, in Sumeria, in the Indus Valley, in China, in the Andes. It was the plan that I, like many others, came to remember, and that plan begins to define itself in the Atlas region, in the Canaries, because there lies the memory of origin. There lies the map that connects heaven and earth. Atlas is the symbol of the plan, the one who holds, the one who maintains, the one who doesn't allow everything to collapse. But the Adder-Tumti plan also lives in the sky, because the sky guides the earth. The stars mark the path through time. The celestial path. The ancients looked at the sky and saw patterns. Groups of stars they connected with imaginary lines to remember myths, to orient themselves in the ocean, to measure time, to know when to sow and when to harvest. The constellations carry names of myths because the sky was the sacred book, the place where the stories of the gods were inscribed. Each constellation told a teaching. Each star marked a point on the celestial map. The ancients divided the sky into regions. On the celestial equator moved the constellations of the zodiac. Toward the north were the circumpolar constellations that never sank below the horizon. Toward the south were the constellations that could only be seen from certain latitudes. But of all the constellations, one was the most important, the one that guided all the others, the one that marked the hunter's path, the one that held the axis of the night sky, Orion. Orion, the hunter and his dogs. Orion is the hunter, the most recognizable constellation in the sky. 3 perfectly aligned stars form his belt. 4 bright stars mark his shoulders and knees. Orion was a giant, a legendary hunter, the most skilled of all, capable of hunting any animal. Orion hunted accompanied by his 2 faithful dogs, Canis Major, the greater dog, who carries Sirius in his chest, the brightest star in the night sky, and Canis Minor, the lesser dog, who carries Procyon on his forehead. The 2 dogs eternally chase their master across the sky, before Orion runs the bull, Taurus, the great celestial bull that opens the furrow in the stellar field, the one who prepares the earth for the seeds of the stars. Taurus was the sacred cow, the cosmic matrix, the one who produces the milk of the stars. The Milky Way was seen by the ancients as the milk of the sacred cow, the primordial substance from which stars were born, the river of light that crosses the sky. And on the back of Taurus shine the Pleiades, the 7 sisters, the 7 doves that mark the north, the 7 muses who inspire the celestial song. The Pleiades were called the doves because they guided the path, as the muses guided inspiration. As the mouse, music, came out of the cave to bring the message of the gods. Orion eternally pursues the Pleiades. He pursues the heart of the cow, the center of creation, the place where stars are born, but he never reaches them, because that is his task, to pursue, to hunt, to maintain movement, to hold the wheel of the sky. But Orion has an enemy, a poison that pursues him from behind, the scorpion and the physician. According to myth, Orion was stung by a scorpion. The scorpion Scorpius appeared from the earth and drove its stinger into the hunter's heel. Orion fell. He died, but his death was also his transformation. The gods placed Orion in the sky, along with his dogs, to honor him, and the scorpion they also placed in the sky, on the opposite side, so that Orion and Scorpius would never meet. When the scorpion rises on the horizon, Orion sinks. When Orion rises, the scorpion disappears. But between Orion and Scorpius stands the healer, Ophiuchus, the serpent-bearer. Ophiuchus is the celestial physician, the great healer Asclepius, the one who learned the secret of resurrecting the dead, the one who masters the serpent's poison to transform it into medicine. Asclepius was struck down by Zeus because the gods feared that the power to return life would alter the order of the cosmos. But Zeus, regretful, placed Asclepius in the sky as Ophiuchus, the one who holds the serpent in his hands, the one who knows the secret of transmutation. Ophiuchus is between Scorpius and Sagittarius, between poison and arrow, between sting and cure, between death and resurrection. And it is Ophiuchus who heals Orion, who gives him the antidote, who allows him to rise again and continue hunting. The dogs guide him, Sirius and Procyon, the 2 points of light that mark the hunter's path. Without the dogs, Orion gets lost. Without the dogs, Orion cannot hunt. The dogs are the guides, the ones who sniff the trail, the ones who follow the track in the darkness. Orion, Osiris, and the Great Woman. In Egypt, Orion was Osiris, the god of death and resurrection, the one who was dismembered and put back together, the one who governs the underworld, the one who guides souls through darkness. Osiris is the principle that descends, the one who penetrates matter, the one who fragments himself to be able to enter the physical world, and Isis is his feminine counterpart, the one who searches for the pieces, the one who reconstructs, the one who holds, the Great Mother, the matrix that contains. In the geography of the planet, Orion is Egypt, the place where the Ater-Tumti plan was inscribed in stone, the place where the pyramids reflect the 3 stars of Orion's belt, and Isis is Argentina, the Great Woman, the feminine body of the South, the land that holds the womb of the world. In 2012, I made that journey, the path of the Great Woman, from north to south, from Orion to Isis, from Egypt to Argentina, and I did it accompanied by 2 Canarians, by 2 dogs, Canarias, the island of the dogs. Canarias comes from the Latin Canariae Insulae, islands of the dogs. When King Juba II of Mauritania sent an expedition to the islands, they found vast multitudes of dogs of great size. And thus the islands received their name. Dogs are the guides, the ones who track, the ones who follow the scent, the ones who open the path in darkness. And my 2 Canarian dogs were Nydia and Jose, 2 friends who accompanied me on the 2012 journey, the ones who guided me on the Harwitum path, the ones who taught me to see the complete map from the islands. They were my Sirius and Procyon, the 2 points of light that guided me through darkness. And the journey culminated on 12/12/2012 in Buenos Aires, in Tandil, the womb of Argentina, the belly of the Great Woman, between the twin Sierras that reflect the Malvinas, Apollo and Artemis, sun and moon, the 2 eyes that look at the world. That encounter closed the path of the Great Woman. Isis had received Orion in her womb, the heart of the scorpion and the iron faith. The Canaries form the figure of a scorpion, the water scorpion, the guardian of the Atlantic Ocean, and the heart of the scorpion is in Tenerife, in the center of the body, in the place where the pulse of the islands beats. In the sky, the heart of the scorpion is Antares, the giant red star, the rival of Mars, the one that burns with the fire of transformation, Following the heart is having faith, and Tenerife carries that code in its name. Tenerife, to have faith, fe in Spanish, to hold faith, to anchor faith in the heart. But in alchemy, I learned that faith, Fe, is in El Hierro because this chemical element in the periodic table is written Fe from the Latin ferrum. El Hierro is the first island, the base chakra, the seat of power, the place where the kundalini of the scorpion is anchored. Iron is the metal of the north, the magnet, the compass, the needle that always points toward the pole. Faith, Fe, in English is faith, which comes from the Latin fides, trust, fidelity, loyalty. Iron in Spanish is iron in English, the metal of will, the metal that holds, the metal that forges. My faith, Fe, was in my iron, in my north, in my internal compass. But for years that compass was tied, relegated, knotted to a direction that was not mine, because I was baptized in the Christian faith on 12/12/1987, the same code, 12/12, Day of the Great Woman as well as of the Virgin of Guadalupe. And baptism is a pact, a mark, an inscription in the soul that relegates consciousness to a doctrine, to a church, to a system of beliefs. And although I had walked far from that church, although my life had taken other paths, in the subconscious, I remained tied, I remained relegated. That's why on 12/12/2025, I made apostasy. Apostasy, liberation of faith. Apostasy comes from the Greek apostasia. It means departure, desertion, rebellion. In the religious context, apostasy is the formal renunciation of the faith received in baptism. It is the act of officially declaring that you are no longer part of the church, that you no longer accept its doctrine, that you free your soul from that pact. But for me, apostasy was the liberation of my faith, Fe, the return of my iron to my own north, the recovery of my internal compass, because if I want to be here for the earth, if I want to serve the Adder Tumti plan, if I want to bring heaven to earth, I must have my faith, Fe, centered in myself, my iron in my north. That's why I came here, to Tenerife, to the heart of Antares, to the center of the scorpion, to connect with Tidy, the sacred volcano, the iron heart of the scorpion, and I came to be accompanied by my two Canarian dogs, Nydia and Jose, the ones who guided me on the first journey of 2012, the ones who showed me the complete map from the islands. I came to recover my faith, Fe, my iron, my north, to be able to face the scorpion's poison, to be able to traverse the sting, to be able to transform poison into medicine. Because Ophiuchus taught me that poison and medicine are the same thing, that the scorpion stings to heal, that death is the path toward resurrection. And now, after having made apostasy, after having liberated my faith, Fe, after having recovered my iron, I can hold the sky on my shoulders like Atlas. I can be the axis that keeps heaven and earth separated so that life can breathe in between. I can be the vertebra that holds the head of the world. I can be the map that guides others across the ocean of consciousness. Because my faith, Fe, is no longer relegated. My iron is no longer tied. My compass no longer points outward. My north is within me. And from here, from Tenerife, from the heart of the scorpion, from the center of Antares, I can begin again. My question to you today is, where is your iron? Where does your north point? What do you have faith, Fe, in?